It's a lot of fun. People in the VC are very encouraging, and you make a lot of great friendships. So have a go. But if you're in the van,
I'm in. Greetings. Welcome to this video that I had no intentions of doing and didn't even know it was a thing until last night when our hero, Alan Rosenberg, made a video about this and tipped me off to this. Apparently this is something that people do every year, which makes sense. I can buy that. But this year, Rob Walker, who I wasn't familiar with, Alan mentioned him in his video, started this. I guess somebody picks up the ball every year and starts it. Rob Walker did this. This vinyl tag 2024, it's just a list of 20 questions and showing off your records that, you know, coincide with those questions. So I wasn't planning on doing this. I just did like a wrap-up video, and I have this really long video that I'm posting on Friday of like everything left in my collection that I got in 2023 that I hadn't shown yet. So it seems a little goofy to jump in and do this, but it seemed fun, and that's why I did. You know what? I'm going to do this too. So here we go. 20 questions. I know this is kind of wrapped around the vinyl community, people with mainly focusing just on vinyl. I collect both vinyl and CDs, mostly CDs, as you can tell. So I'm trying, it's going to be a mixture of both, but I grabbed a lot more vinyl than I thought I was going to originally. So let's dive in, and apologies at the beginning. If you watch my videos, you're familiar with this already. The number one question was your favorite purchase of 2023. Here it comes, y'all. You're going to roll your eyes and maybe shut off the video right now when I bring this up, but here they are. Human Switchboard. I've mentioned them 100 times on here. It's a post-punk band from New York. They only put out one record from the 70s, and I bought this. It was a blind buy. I picked it up at Mr. K's in South Carolina, and I really just instantly clicked with me. I love this record. I just can't get enough of it. And so that's my favorite purchase of 2023. Okay, number two, the last purchase of 2023. For me, it was the Clash Hits Back. Best of collection, 2-disc. I own this already on vinyl, and I have like all the Clash CDs already, but I have this on vinyl, and I just really liked it so much that I decided to pick this up on CD just to have to throw in instead of digging out the vinyl. If I want, I could just pop this on. So that's the Clash Hits Back, my final purchase of 2023. The next question, an artist who released 2 albums in the same year. That happened a lot back in the day. It doesn't happen too much anymore. But what I chose, I got both. As a matter of fact, I bought both of these in the same week last year. They both came out in 1979. We got Joe Jackson, Look Sharp, and I'm the Man. And both of these are phenomenal records. Just really awesome kind of, I guess maybe power pop you'd classify them of. I really wasn't that familiar with a lot of his catalog. Like I knew 1 or 2 of like his big major hits, like Steppin' Out and stuff. But I think I'd heard I'm the Man from this album and really liked it. Bought these both in like a Goodwill, so I got them both for 99 cents each, and just phenomenal albums. Can't stress that enough. Number 4. If you could only listen to music from one decade, which decade would it be? Very easy. I'll pick the 1980s because I love that era of music, so I could listen to bands like the Hoodoo Gurus and Mental as Anything and Los Lobos. There's a little sample. There's plenty you could pick from, but that's a little sample of some 80s music. No shock for me to pick that decade. Okay, so Rob is from Manchester and wanted us to show an album by an artist from Manchester. Now, this was a little tricky for me because off the top of my head, I'm familiar with, like, I guess Joy Division and maybe the Happy Mondays. But I just like looked up, I cheated, sorry. I looked up online to see a list of bands from Manchester, and one stood out to me because I didn't know they were from Manchester. I thought they were from London, and I was like, maybe you better investigate this a little bit further. And it seems a little confusing. A lot of places that list that they were formed in Manchester, a lot of places list them just from London. I'm going to go with Manchester, and that is the 80s pop rock band, The Outfield. Rob, let me know if you're from there, then you can clarify if they are indeed a Manchester band. I mean, I know they had very, very little success in England, but had a lot more in America. But I'm sure you would know if people consider them a Manchester band. Great band, love them. But if they do not qualify, I went with the Ting Tings and their album We Started Nothing. So they, I do know, are from Manchester. So there's your Manchester bands. Number 6. Which artists did you listen to the most in 2023? Well, by default, I'm going to go with Camper Van Beethoven because I picked up 5 of their CDs in 2023 and have listened to all of these. So I'm going to go with my gut and say I probably listened to this band more than any other band in 2023. Number 7, show us 7 7-inches, 45. All right, that'll be fun. We've got the Bags and their album, or 45, Survive. We've got Jimmy Cliff and Elvis Costello and the Attractions, 7-Day Weekend. This is from the Club Paradise soundtrack. Good, funny movie if you've never seen it. We've got Shriekback and Gunning for the Buddha, one of my favorites. We've got Sun City, awesome tune, my favorite out of all those 80s like charity songs. That's my favorite. Here's another one that I liked quite a bit, King Holiday. And we've got Fear and their theme for the movie Neighbors with John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd that was not used in the movie. Years and years later, they put it out on a 45. It was not featured in the movie, although it was recorded for it. And on the B-side of this is a version of that song with Belushi singing it, actually. So it's kind of cool. And finally, a YouTube hero, Weird Paul and his single Beach Ball. I love that. It's a great, great song. Okay. Number 8. Here, this will be fun. If I was going to have a dinner party, I could invite 4 musicians to this dinner party. Who would I invite? Well, one of my favorites, dearly departed, Kim Shattuck from the Muffs. Mainly just to sit down. I mean, she's cool as hell. I would just love to have the chance to sit down and talk with her. You know, that would be certainly the number one person that I would invite. And she could probably help me navigate the craziness of the rest of the guests that I would invite to this dinner party, because we would have Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols with us having dinner. We would have Jello Biafra sitting down and having some cordials with us. And then maybe the craziest of them all, Diamond Dave, David Lee Roth. So imagine that, if you will, for a dinner party. I'm sure a lot of you are shaking your heads and thinking I'm insane for inviting them. But that's why Kim's there, to kind of help me get through that insanity. Number 9. Sadly, we lost them. Someone we lost this year, a musician we lost. I went with Tom Verlaine from Television. Many other projects. What I wasn't aware of about Tom Verlaine was that A, he's from New Jersey like myself, and we share the same birthday, December 13th. So kind of interesting to just kind of pick up. But love Television, Tom Verlaine, sadly missed. Sadly missed, does that make sense? I don't know, whatever. Okay, where are we at? Number 7. Did I skip something? No, I did that. That's 45. Okay, number 10. If you could only listen to music from one country, what would it be? That's tricky because obviously Australia's got some great musicians, England, of course, but I'm going to go with the good old US of A. Why? Well, let me show you a couple artists that I love from the United States of America that I would love to listen to if I could only listen to one country's music. Agent Orange from California. The Sandals and their music from the film Endless Summer, also from California. And from New York City, The yes. All right. Number 11, VC Discoveries. This is about other channels that I discovered this year. I've been doing these for 3 years, I think, I started in May 2020, so whatever. And yeah, so I guess over 3 years, maybe, I don't know, whatever. But you know, I remember first tuning in to JC from the Flip Side, Hannah, the Omaha Introvert, were early ones that I kind of picked up on. Down the road, JT, Monty Muse, the aforementioned Alan Rosenberg, Sean Spins, The Mind's Eye. This year, the ones that I do know that I first discovered this year, Steve Carlson, great dude. I'm sure most of you are familiar with him. I know I just started listening or watching his videos this year. Another one, MGK Boston, Mike Kelly up in Boston. I know I just discovered his stuff this year. He might have started this year, I don't remember, but he's become a good bud. And also Embryonic Robot is the other one that I just pretty recently discovered his videos and enjoy them quite a bit. Okay, so check them all out. I'll put links to all these people down below. Number 12, Show Us a Record That I Bought as a Teen. It's 2024. This album is celebrating its 40th anniversary. It came out on January 9th, 1984. I bought this a few days later from Jack's Music, just a couple blocks down the road. This is the actual album I bought on January, whatever, 1984. Van Halen, 1984. This is my original copy. I have the receipt as well still too, but I should have it with the album, but I don't know. I have it stored away somewhere else. I should find it and put it here in the bag with the album, but I'll have to dig that up. I'll maybe put a picture up of that receipt there. Okay, number 13, Show Us a Soul or Funk album. Now this will be something none of you are familiar with. Some good buddies of mine had a local band back, mostly in the 90s they played. I think maybe late 80s, early 90s, into the 90s they played. They've done some kind of like one-off shows here and there since, but they were never signed or anything like that. But a handful of them still play music and everything. But this band was a funk band, and they are called The Funk. And this is a CD that was like self-released from tracks that they made. I helped them kind of put this together well after the fact. But really cool band. I'll maybe put a link below to maybe a couple of their tracks so you can check them out. But that's The Funk. All righty, what do we got here? Number 14. Show a record everyone has and a record I think no one has. Everyone has, I'm pretty sure, pretty much everyone has a copy of Legend, the best of Bob Marley. When I returned to vinyl collecting in the 2000s sometime, this was one of the first ones that I picked up as well. And I have it on CD. I used to have it on cassette, but I feel like pretty much everybody has a copy of that. Something that nobody has, I picked up maybe 2 years ago, never heard of it before, found it in Zia in Las Vegas. And this is The Sounds of Asbury Park. And Asbury Park's not very far from here. Big music scene, especially back in like the 70s. There's a big music scene there now, but when you think of the sound of Asbury Park, you certainly think of like the 70s, like right after Springsteen had left, and all these bands that kind of were familiar with them or were around playing in the clubs down there at that time. So they put out this compilation. I found it, never heard of it. It's pretty good, not bad. So let us move on. 15, She's Great, an album by a female artist that I picked up in 2023. I think Rob was kind of specifying more like you would think like a solo artist, I'm guessing, but I went with a band, started out as a 3-piece, all-female kind of indie pop band. Now they've got a whole bunch of more members. I'm sure a handful of them are dudes, but you know, I think they fit the bill here. And this is the Concretes and their album WYWH, Wish You Were Here. Really good, kind of dreamy indie pop stuff. Really like that. Okie dokie. 16. Favorite video that I made. this one. No, I don't know. I don't know which would be my favorite. You know what? I do. I'll take that back. I really enjoyed visiting very recently JT up in Reno and Monty Muse in Southern California. Got together with them, hit up a record store, and just really enjoyed that. Hoping to do a bit more of that this year. Okay, 17. Show us a 90s classic. 90s classic to me, Goldfinger and Hang Ups. This is, I guess, their second album. I bought this when it came out in the 90s, bought it on CD and wore that CD out. Love it. Picked this up on vinyl a handful of years ago, but just an awesome record. I love this kind of that ska, rock, punk kind of sound, punk, pop punk, you know, kind of thing. But I really love this. My favorite album by them, one of my favorite albums of all time for sure. Okie dokie. 18. If you could walk into an album cover, interesting question. No doubt this one, when I was looking and thinking, what would it be? Then when this crossed my path, I said, oh, for sure, that's it. This is the Muffs, No Holiday. And this was released right around the time when Kim Shattuck passed away. This picture would make you believe this was a live album. When they released and announced this album earlier that year before she had passed and released this album cover, I assumed this was going to be a live record. But it's the final record that they recorded when she was sick that none of us knew about. And this picture is from their very last live performance before she passed away. So I would walk into this picture and see them one last time for the final time. The Muffs, No Holiday. What do we got here? 19. We're almost done, folks. This album is like a greatest hits album. My buddy Alan Rosenberg brought up the Cars. Wasn't his choice, but he mentioned them, and that's what I was going to go with. But then as I was flipping through, I said, oh, no, I'm going with this one. One that I think Alan Rosenberg could have easily picked himself. Blondie, Parallel Lines. I really was not a fan. I'm late to the game with Blondie. I didn't really become a fan of them until like maybe, you know, 10 or 15 years ago, really. I mean, I was aware of them. I knew a lot of their hits and everything, but I'd never owned any of their records or anything like that. Saw them live. They played this whole album front to back, and just that is what clicked for me. And I went out and picked this up right away. On here, you've got Hanging on the Telephone, One Way or Another, Picture This, Pretty Baby, 11:59, Sunday Girl, Heart of Glass, blah, 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 blah. This I could easily picture as a greatest hits album. Okay, final question, y'all. Rob Walker, this has been fun. I'm glad that I saw Alan's video and decided to partake in this. It's fun doing these kinds of things. All the time I'm on here just talking about my own pickups and everything like that. So, you know, getting involved like this is always fun. So to end it, 20, he decided to, album's turning 50 this year, 1974. Show us an album from 1974. I'm not going to say the name of this record, but I'm just going to hold it up. Richard Pryor. Best there ever was. I remember late 70s being at a friend's house, and they had this record, and we were not supposed to listen to it because it was too dirty, blah, blah, blah. And we were too young to hear the language or whatever. And I was at my friend's house. We took their record from his parents and went in his room and listened to this really with the volume really low and laughed our asses off. And yeah, just a classic album from 1974. So that's it. 20 questions, vinyl tag 2024. Again, thank you, Rob, for coming up with this. It's been fun. And chime in, y'all. Do your videos and leave a link below to your video so I can go check it out. Thanks again. See you another time.